Hello everyone, welcome to ABP Education. A very good afternoon to you all. And my name is Prabjeet Singh. And before I introduce you all to the panelists of the 7th webinar in the Campus to Career series, I'd like to tell you about abpeducation.com. abpeducation.com is basically a higher education news portal which deals in news regarding exams, career guidance, tips, and everything that happens in the higher education sector is covered by us. And we also cover everything in like global education. Anything that has any consequence in the higher education sector is covered by us. And we are powered by the Telegraph and Ananda Bazar Patrika. The Campus to Career series started on August 12th with the Bengal Education Leaders Summit with Education Minister Partho Chatterjee attending it. And today, the 7th webinar in the Campus to Career series is about Health is Wealth, Pharma, Biotechnology, and Life Sciences. Now coming to the panelists. The first panelist is Professor Dr. Dhrubajyoti Chattopadhyay, Vice Chancellor, Sister Nivedita University, Kolkata. Professor Chattopadhyay has over 35 years of experience in the education sector. He was the founder Vice Chancellor of Amity University, Kolkata from 2015 to 2019. He was the Pro Vice Chancellor of the University of Calcutta from 2008 till 2015. Welcome, Mr. Chattopadhyay. Next on the panel is Professor Dr. Amulesh Samanto, Division of Microbiology and Biotechnology, Department of Pharmaceutical Technology, Jadavpur University. He is a regular evaluator of PhD thesis in pharmacy of different universities in India. He has, to his credit, around 90 research articles in national and international journals of repute. Welcome, Mr. Samanto. Next on the panel is Dr. Abhijit Sengupta, Director, Guru Nanak Institute of Pharmaceutical Science and Technology. He has a teaching and administrative experience for over 35 years, having number of research papers in peer-reviewed journals. Welcome, Mr. Sengupta. Next on the panel is Dr. Shamil Royce, Professor and Dean, National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, Kolkata. Talking about his career highlights, he has been postdoctoral fellow, Massachusetts Institute of Technology from 1984 to 1989, Chief Scientist CSIR Indian Institute of Chemical Biology from 1990 to 2016. He has also been Vice Chancellor, Kuch Bihar Panchanan Burma University in 2016-17. Welcome, Mr. Roy. Next on the panel is Dr. Devdatta Bandyopadhyay, Head Cell and Molecular Biology, Senior General Manager, Zydus Research Center, Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Mr. Bandyopadhyay has earned his PhD in biochemistry from the Indian Institute of Chemical Biology, a CSIR institute with a CSIR fellowship. On completion of PhD, he moved abroad and joined the Tulane University Medical College at New Orleans, USA, as a postdoctoral fellow in 1995, where he worked in the field of diabetes. In 1997, he changed his field to cancer biology and worked at the MD Anderson Cancer Center, continuing his postdoctoral studies, and then served the Baylor College of Medicine in Houston, Texas, as a faculty. Welcome, sir. Next on the panel is Dr. Rudra Prasad Saha, Associate Professor and Head of the Department of Biotechnology, School of Life Science and Biotechnology, Adamas University, Kolkata. Dr. Saha completed his comprehensive postdoctoral research on host virus relationships at the University of Texas at Austin and San Diego State University, USA, after earning his PhD in biochemistry from Jadavpur University, Kolkata. Welcome, Mr. Saha. And now our moderator, Dr. Fatima Calcutawala, Assistant Professor, Department of Microbiology and Biotechnology, Sister Nivedita University, Kolkata. Her area of research is molecular microbiology. and she pursued her postdoctoral research at the Bose Institute. She is a recipient of the reputed Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Fellowship for pursuing PhD in 2000, from 2010 to 2015. Welcome, ma'am. And now I'd like to hand over the session to you, and I wish you a great one.
Thank you for the kind introduction. And I welcome all the attendees over here, all the participants to the webinar, Health is Wealth, Pharma, Biotechnology and Life Sciences. So the first part of our session includes a panel. Each of the speakers will deliver a 5 to 6 minute talk to lay the context for the panel discussion. So may I now welcome Professor Dhrubajyoti Chattopadhyay, Vice Chancellor of Sister Nivedita University, to give an overview about this topic to the audience. Sir.
Sir, you'll need to unmute yourself.
So kindly unmute your microphone, sir. I think sir is facing some difficulty now.
Yes, I think you can move on and we'll check out.
Okay.
You can move on to the next speaker.
Next speaker, okay, sure. Professor Amalesh Samanta, can you please unmute your microphone, sir?
Even Mr. Shamanta is facing some issues. If you can just move on, please.
Yes. Okay. Dr. Devdatta Bandhopadhyay?
Yes. You want me to start the session with the background, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So as I understand, today's seminar is based on the problem that most of the students, they don't have a good idea what to do after their degrees. So I believe I'm here to give some light on that. Now, as my introduction says, I have a fair share of in the academic field, as well as last 14 years I have been working in the industrial field. So most likely I have seen both the sides pretty well. The point is what to do after the degree in bachelor degree. Some people may prefer to go to job right away. Some people may prefer to continue the masters and continue further to PhD and the postdoctorate. But what after that? Even if we go after masters or PhD, then what's the future? Where do we go? The basic thing is you can go in two parts. Number one is either you can go to academia or you can go to industry. In academia, if you can go for hardcore research, like what we do in Bose Institute or CSIR institutes all through India. Or you can go for teaching come research or maybe pure teaching. In industry, you can come to several sectors. Now, different sectors are there.
Got it. I could unmute.
I'm audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay. So if we go for industry, people don't have good idea about what to do in the industry. I believe the students, they are right now in the academia field. So they have pretty good conception about what is going on in the academia field, what are the research. They have seen different, their seniors, their teachers who are in the hardcore research field. But barely they have seen any scientist who is working in the industry field. And what do we do in industry? And what kind of industrial sectors are open for these biology students? This is a short session. I cannot show the slides and things, but roughly I can go through a couple of different sectors. Like say, when we go for any kind, when we learn biology, any field, biotechnology, microbiology, biochemistry, whatever it is, what are the windows are open to us? Number one is hardcore research that we are doing in an industry. So in industry, my job is to do hardcore research and help in the drug development, new drug development. Is that all? Of course not. There are dairy industries, there are drug delivery. Another important point is drug delivery. We never thought about getting our feet wet in that field, drug delivery. We can go for breweries. We can go for different forensics using recombinant technology, SNPs, and all those things are useful for there. Cosmetics. I mean, if you know, our company has got a big cosmetic side using different products. So cosmetic side is another one, and we help them. We help to test those cosmetics safety and efficacy. Say they claim one cosmetic is for skin. So we have to test their irritation. If there is any irritation on the skin, how do we do that? It's completely biochemistry. So my previous background helps in that. They can go for business development and sales. Most of the business development people, they have only the business side. They are not very well acquainted with the science part and what is the present science scenario for any particular disease, which company should work on. So business development is another lucrative area where they can put their feet. Secondly, quality assurance. Quality assurance is another important part. So whenever we market any product or whenever we release any new batch for our already marketed product, we have to make sure that the quality is at par what is our specification says. So who is going to assure that? For that, we need quality assurance people. And finally, last but not the least, is the intellectual property. Intellectual property is a very important thing for any industry. We develop lots of molecules, we market lots of molecules. To protect our right on that molecule, we need people who are expert in the intellectual property field. Unfortunately, not too many institutes in India, they have course for intellectual property and you have to learn it yourself, getting a diploma or something. But believe me, I'm saying it for the audience, believe me, if you go for intellectual property, it's a big field opening up and most of the industries are kind of lacking with this properly trained intellectual property people. So that's another good area. Last but another point I missed, which is the toxicology part. I don't know how many courses are there in biology who teaches toxicology, but toxicology is a very lucrative field in terms of they never have any scarcity of jobs, because any company, may it be a new drug development research-based company or a completely product-based company who purchases license from another product from outside and prepare it themselves. Toxicity is a very important part to check. So toxicity study is very important and almost every institute, every organization, pharmaceutical industry organization, they need toxicology people. So if a person is expert in toxicology, they have a big horizon open to themselves. Similar is the drug delivery and DMPK, drug metabolism and pharmacokinetics. That means when you take a drug, what happens to the drug? How long does it take to reach the peak value? How long does it take to get out of the body? Which organ it is passing through? Is it excreting through fecal matters? Is it excreting through urine, through carbon dioxide as an exhale, or through sweat, or where? What kind of damage it can do to other drugs that we are taking? All those questions are answered by these DMPK people. So that is another part where they can look into. So these are the brief things. We can focus on each one as the questions start coming. I think I should not take more time and leave the podium for others. Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening the audience on this aspect. We will now move on to the next speaker, Professor Dr. Drubajyoti Chattopadhyay.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Let me first welcome the participants consisting of students and faculty members and others, interested parents also, and my co-panelist. And definitely like to congratulate the education for organizing this very important series of lectures. Now, today is health is wealth is the topic. And I find that this concept of health is wealth and life sciences is developing like anything. If we look at the pre-70 era, that means before 1970, biology is looked upon from a completely classical angle in most of the places, except in some Western countries and European countries. But after 1970, there are a lot of changes started, and we could see the rapid development in the area of biosciences, particularly the life sciences, which is related with so many different areas. And now, if we ask anybody, it's from the classical areas of zoology, botany, physiology, and all these things. Immediately, it comes to your mind about the biochemistry, microbiology, biotechnology, pharmacology, as well as forensic science, and there are many, many more. And in the recent past, you know that the era of this molecular biology and bioinformatics is coming up in such a way so that right now we know there are so many different divergent areas where a student can actually opt for this, either at the level where there should not be any very strict specializations, but from the postgraduate level onwards, they started like that. And the domain of these biological sciences, life sciences are increasing like anything. What I find that in the recent past, if you look at this biotechnology and microbiology is becoming very, very popular. Earlier in 80s, we came to know that loaded of students from West Bengal are moving to South for studying biotechnology. Now, after 90s, there are a number of colleges, universities started this biotechnology program, and there are less number of student migration. Is that there is a huge demand for the students for studying this. And right now, if you look at after the COVID era, this is something where it is becoming a very, very important subject areas, starting from the pharmacy. You know that everybody is right now concerned. Everybody knows about, oh, we have to have a drug. We have to have an antiviral medicine. We have to have. So they, a lot of my friends started asking me, what's the difference between antibiotics and antivirals? So what's vaccine? The question comes about, now everybody talks about the immunity of the system, immunology. I know my friend Shamil, leader in the field of immunology, is with us, and how immunology is playing such a huge importance right now. And all these are actually part of the development in the area of biology in the last couple of years and becoming more and more relevant in recent past. Now, the question comes about the relationship between the clinical as well as the pharmaceutical and the basic research. All three are becoming very important, and there should be a cross-disciplinary approach between all of them. And we have to understand, a student from life sciences, they must understand what is actually, we talk about the different types of technologies, different types of application, different types of areas where researches can go on. As the doctor rightly mentioned, there are huge number of areas of research, and also the companies are looking forward to what type of people. For that, how we have to prepare. So health is wealth. To understand this, we have to right now unravel the mysteries and the development of the biology in a very fast manner. Thank you, everybody. And I'm sure that today's panel discussion is going to give you, my dear students, an understanding how important it is to study the life sciences, and where you have to think about, you must have the knowledge of physics, chemistry, mathematics, computation, computer science, and everything. You cannot say, no, I don't want to. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir has really correctly pointed out the high demand for virology and immunology, especially in this COVID-19 era. So thank you very much. Next, I would like to move on to the next speaker, Professor Amalesh Shamanta.
Yes, I am audible.
Amalesh, sir?
I am
Yes,
audible.
sir.
Yes.
Yes, yes, sir.
So first of all, I like to convey my best thanks to the organizer, ABP Education, and my regards to Professor Zoology Chattopadhyay, who mentioned my name to attend this program. Sir, please. And my best thanks and regards to all panelists attended this webinar session to share their views and thoughts regarding different aspects and biologicals and immunology and drug manufacturing, etc., etc. Before that, I like to say something about pharmacy, and the program is Career Campus to Career 2020 and Health is Wealth. It is a process for evaluate the efficacy of the drug. Before that, I want to mention a point, pharmacy. Pharmacy is a science of drug. It deals with the drugs obtained from different sources, maybe natural or from synthetic or semi-synthetic or from microbial origin. This is the area of microbiology and biotechnology and immunology. So many drugs in this present scenario, mainly in case of vaccines and antibiotics and different enzymes and different anti-diabetic hormones, etc., prepared from microbial origin by using the science and biotechnology, microbiology, genetics and molecular biology, cell biology and biochemistry also. This is the tremendous importance in this pandemic situation also. So vaccine preparation is very important nowadays in this COVID-19 situation. Apart from this, I like to focus the profession of pharmacy. It is very important, and this profession is directly related to healthcare system. Some disease may be caused by
Any problem with Professor Shamantu's?
Yes, I think there's some network issues, sir, probably. Professor Shamantu, can you hear me, sir? I think there is some network issue. Okay, in that case, we'll just move on to the next speaker, Professor Abhijit Sengupta.
Thank you, Dr. Fatima.
Welcome,
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Yeah. So, good afternoon, and my Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, my and all the participants. So, today's topic is health. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Okay. Yes, yes. See, the society's main focus nowadays is on improving the health and reducing the health inequalities, particularly participatory education, because health, it is for economic, social development and vital concern to the lives of every single person and the families. Previously, health was only the means used to define it as an absence of diseases or immunity. But nowadays, health is a state of complete physical, mental well-being of all the people of this society. Now, nowadays, the study of education in the field of education, studying medicine and things, it is not only a subject of biology or physiology, pharmacology, or all these things, but a conglomerate of different subjects. You know, computer science, engineering, different engineering subjects are very much to or very much associated with also. Similarly, of course, pharmaceutical sciences, microbiology, biology, genetics, and many more, molecular and modern these biochemistry, all these subjects assisting the health sciences and assisting to improve the research and all the other dimensions. So therefore, these modern subjects which are required for the study of medicine and the health sciences are coming up to a great extent. And these subjects, as Professor was saying, that study of biotechnology or genetics, it has become very popular nowadays. Pharmaceutical sciences, of course, utilizes so many of these to this pharmaceutical profession. And we know pharmaceutical business throughout the world is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And it is one of the main parts in resources. Indian companies, Indian pharmaceutical companies have become multinationals. Indian pharmaceutical companies have opened up factories in Europe and all the different countries of the world. And we are one of the largest producers and for the generics. Of course, India was previously around 40 years ago, we were preparing our that is the pharmaceutical ingredients. Later on, it was done by China. But now, due to the new situation with China, world, again, I think India will come in API products. So, but as a student of biological sciences, I'm in this profession, I would like to say, study of biology, particularly the biotechnology, microbiology, genetics, medical laboratory technology, even subjects like Bachelor of Hospital Management is very important. And we definitely would say that students must be encouraged to study these fields and come as a professional for the sciences, particularly the pharmaceutical sciences and the medicine. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, we would now like to move on to the next speaker, Dr. Shamil Royce, sir. Sir, we can't hear you, sir.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Now you're audible.
Okay. So it's a great pleasure and privilege to be a part of this ABP Digital. And I thank organizers for giving me this opportunity to say something on the issue pharma, biotechnology, and life sciences. I think if we look very carefully, and hardly there is any difference that I can see. Basically, it stems from the original life sciences and then kind of further subdivision to different branches of pharmacy and biotechnology. So I'm talking from a building where the first pharmaceutical industry was started, that is Bengal Chemical and Pharmaceuticals. And this is the house of the legendary Indian chemist Acharya Prafullo Chandra Ray, and where the first pharmaceutical company started. So as we grow old, we need more and more pills, procedures, and vaccines. And given the rising burden of disease, India looks on its own health security. So India, in other words, they call it as a pharmacy of the world. And if we look at the history about 1970s, late 60s, hardly our share was 5% in the entire pharmaceutical industries, and remaining 95% coming from the other parts of the world. But within last 50 years, the scenario has completely changed. We are coming almost closer to 70 to 80%, and rest of the world is coming roughly about 20% in terms of production of the generic medicine. And that itself testifies the ability of our Indian scientists to bring their contribution in the development of the pharmaceutical industries, and their contribution in the global landscape. And we also know the price of drugs in India is probably the lowest because number of companies, and there's a great deal of competition. And Indian pharma companies are almost earning 10 billion every year. And but there are still a lot of complexities. There are still some, not only roses, but also some thorns as well. So if we come to APIs, that is the pharmaceutically active ingredients that we have to import from China. We are largely 80% of these APIs are to be imported from the China. And there are some reasons to it. Number one, their infrastructure is much more developed. The wages are low. And also there are a lot of environmental issues that are associated with it. So therefore, this is one area that we have to develop our own APIs. That is one area that we have to really carefully think about and develop so that our dependence on China is progressively reduced. So we are really basically famous for developing generics and the formulations. But if we think about some new molecules to drug, hardly we have produced any new drug. And in this context, I have to talk about one of the Indian legendary scientists, Sir Upendranath Brahmachari. And students should know that his contribution in 1921, when our country was afflicted with the disease Kalajar, and our people are dying in the Gangetic Plain and Brahmaputra Valley like anything, his contribution in the development of the drug ureastibamine, which simply combining para-amino phenylic stevonic acid with urea, he produced ureastibamine, and that drug really saved countless lives of our country, and when Gangetic Plain and Brahmaputra Valley was in a bad shape. It is almost 100 years, still antimonials is a drug, and it's not in use in our country, but it is in use in different parts of Africa and some other countries. So this is an extraordinarily important discovery that happened from India, and that again in Calcutta. Upendranath Brahmachari has the unique blend of chemistry as well as medicine. He studied medicine at Medical College, Calcutta, and chemistry at Presidency College. That unique blend led him to the discovery of this new molecule, new drug, ureastibamine. And that was a monumental finding, and it has attained a clinical success, what we cannot think of. But unfortunately, he was nominated Nobel Prize for a couple of times. But actually what happened, we do not know. If we look at the history of chemotherapy, that all the chemotherapeutics, starting from the first one is the Paul Ehrlich salvarsan, that is anti-syphilitic drug. And second one is the Brahmachari's ureastibamine. And then came chloramphenicol, streptomycin. All of them got Nobel Prize, except the second one, that is Brahmachari's ureastibamine. So he's a kind of legendary scientist, and we should feel proud of him because he's probably producer of the single drug that was produced from India. So now what option do we have? Where we can make dents? Number one, another issue is the phytopharmaceuticals. Now government of India is encouraging for developing phytopharmaceuticals, which is a kind of alternative to the allopathic medicine. But unfortunately, the phytopharmaceuticals are poorly evaluated and the procedures are less stringent. And it is basically based on some Ayurvedic text. And in today's context, this is unacceptable. And no way this will pass all the regulatory procedures, what FDA and other regulatory agencies very stringent about it. So therefore, if you can really put modern science to it, and then probably we can take these phytopharmaceuticals in the world scenario. And this is important area for research and for development. And another area of research that you can think of is the repurposing of drugs, because a lot of drugs that are already being evaluated, but not coming as a drug in the market. And if we can get those pools and kind of get some repurposing of those drugs for different purposes altogether. So regarding the biopharmas like vaccines or biosimilars like monoclonal antibodies, our contribution to this area is not much. So basically our contribution in the tune of maybe roughly 1.5% to 3%. So this is another area that active research is needed for developing new biosimilars, different monoclonal antibodies, therapeutic monoclonal antibodies, etc., etc. And most important thing that is lacking in our country is the academy industry link. And it is hardly existing in our country. And if we look at the United States, most of the professors do have their own companies, and whatever coming in the laboratory, they can immediately introduce and test it in their own companies. This area of academy and industry link is extremely poor in our country. And we know that there are a lot of colleagues we have at the CSI and IICD. I can recall Dr. Hemant Majumdar did a lot of natural products and single molecules he has, but unable to, who is take these molecules to drug, which is prohibitively expensive process. It takes almost $1 billion to take a molecule as a drug. So I think Indian pharmaceutical companies are not much excited to take these molecules in the form of drug. But we have a large pool of talented scientists, and they can really take this much more forward. And Government of India now planning to create a separate department for research and development so that these molecules can be drug form. I think I should stop here. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, sir. It was a very good piece of advice and information for the young audience especially, so thank you. I would now like to move on to the last speaker for this session, Dr. Rudra Shah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I would like to thank ABP Digital for providing me this opportunity to speak in presence of such distinguished panelists. And already all the panelists have clearly described the importance of pharmacy and biotechnology and life sciences, and why students should choose these particulars because there are various options in these three sectors. So I would like to present a little bit a different way as a student perspective. For example, let's say I passed class 2 and I love biology. I want to choose a certain profession. I want to be in the biology sector or pharmacy, either pharmacy or biotechnology or life sciences sector. So I need advice. Okay, that particular advice was largely not there for last several years or several decades because we are kind of overwhelmed with the advices from our parents and our friends and relatives because they mostly have seen medical or engineering sector to prosper. Engineering, mostly IT, and medical because they can see the end point. They can see doctors and engineers around their town, among their relatives, but where are the pharmacists or biotechnologists or life scientists? They are not available in front of us. So that a kind of barrier because of lack of awareness. Many students, even if they want to pursue biology as a career, but their parents or the friends or advisor never advise them to be in there. Instead, they always tell them to go for medical or engineering because their end point is clear. because I know there is a good life I can lead if I choose this sector. But now, because of the COVID-19 situation, so much of awareness is around. Every media is talking about pharmacy and biotechnology and life sciences. And this is important because now students can actually see where the pharmacist or biotechnologist or life scientist are actually work. Because they are now on the media. They are everywhere. They are on the newspaper. They are on webinars. They are on different channels. And this awareness is important, and I'd like to thank ABP Digital to increase such awareness. So because we need good students, and you know, primarily this sector is research based, as others also explained that obviously. Even if you look at the biotechnology sector per se, almost 60% of the sector in India is pharmacy or medical based. So still, there are a lot of research is needed to develop different types of, as our panelist explained, different drugs and other things, APIs and other things. And apart from that, there are others also, which is probably less in percentage, but it's upcoming. And as per government estimate, like 2025, the biotechnology pharmacy industry going to be like $200 billion industry. So like 20% year-to-year growth from now on. So that's a big jump. That's a very big prospect for biotech or pharmacy industry. So there is no doubt, but student needs to be guided to what particular subject there is, he or she wants to choose, because there are lots of overlappings are there. Biotechnology, microbiology, biochemistry, pharmacy, some overlappings are there. That needs to be clearly explained to the students when they are going to choose a particular subject. So that's my take. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Rudra Shah. So this brings us to the end of the first part of our webinar. So now I would like to declare this session open for a panel discussion. Like we have a lot of questions coming up from the audience. So I'll be picking up a few questions and directing them at the speakers respectively. So the first question is, yes, may I request Drupajati sir to kindly unmute and answer this question, sir. So what is the future of immunologists and virologists in India? And what are the institutes which offer masters or PhD in immunology or virology?
I have just answered that in the chat box, but anyway, I can again mention to you that this immunology, virology in the master's program, there are very few universities, they have this particular course. The National Institute of Virology, they offer the MSc in virology, and the Pune University also. And there are some other smaller private universities offer the MSc in immunology or virology. But in general, what we could find that PhD in immunology and virology are almost you could do in different central research institute like the CSIR institutes, Indian Institute of Chemical Biology, and all the different CSIR institutes. Then we have the DBT institutes where we have a very strong infrastructure for doing the research in these areas. The Icmr also actually have number of institutes where you can do this. Besides that, the leading universities, they have a very good facilities for doing research in the area of virology, immunology. And so I can mention to you that the MSc in these two subjects are not so widespread, but PhD, you can get a chance from number of institutions.
Thank you, sir. So I would now move on to the next question. So this is for Dr. Bandyopadhyay. So can you unmute, sir?
Yes.
So this one goes like, I'm doing my master's in pharmacology and toxicology from Naipur, Guwahati. I want to do pharma business related to the API. So I want to ask, what should I do? Business or go for PhD?
So
This is from Saurav Kundu.
I think, yeah. So Mr. Kundu is not considering job as the option, PhD or directly for business. So see, Banijya Vashate Lakshmi. So if he goes for business, that's probably the best option. If he has that guts and options to go for business, that's the best thing. So PhD is in that case, PhD will be the second option. But going for a business needs a huge amount of knowledge so that your other persons, your other clients may not befool you. For that, you need to have that knowledge. For that, Saurabh may want to go for a PhD and then jump to the business. Because this line, this API business has got it's a huge business. And he has good experience in masters and toxicology, pharmacology and toxicology. So if he can manage some more knowledge so that his clients cannot befool him, then I think the business will be a best option and he can be more successful. I think that's my call.
Thank you, sir. Sir, there is one very basic question, sir, for Dr. Shamil Royce, sir. So can you please unmute, sir? Dr. Shamil Roy?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please.
So, this is one basic question. Sir, I'm a student of Standard 12. I'm planning to pursue my higher studies in biological sciences. Can you please tell me the difference between a BSc in biotechnology and BTech in biotechnology? So many students are having this basic question actually.
Okay, I think Dr. Zoology Chattopadhyay can respond to this question better than me. So I think I direct this question to Dr. Chattopadhyay.
Okay, sir.
Dr. Chattopadhyay, would you please respond?
Sir, can you kindly respond?
Okay, otherwise I will try to respond what I know.
Or
Okay, okay,
Shamalda, after that, I may probably can pitch in.
Okay, so
please go ahead.
Yeah, apparently, I think from the BTech students also study a little bit of engineering, as I know from the syllabus of IIT Kharagpur. They study first 2 years probably the same engineering thing, and third year and fourth year they kind of specialize for studying different biotechnologies. And as such, if you look at the syllabus, hardly there is any difference you can think of. But the students studying at the biotechnology in the engineering institute, part of the engineering things they will have to study. And otherwise, the syllabus part is more or less it is covered, but only engineering part is extra in the engineering syllabus. I think now Devu can respond.
Let me just tell on which capacity I'm answering that. My son is doing BTech in biotechnology from Manipal, and I have been teaching some BSc biotechnology courses in local educational institutes. So I know both the sides more or less. So what my understanding is, in BTech in biotechnology, you have to study lot more mathematics. So that mathematics involve very high grade calculus and very high grade other systems. So which is actually beyond my head. I don't understand any of those things. They have fluid flow operation. They can teach you how big the processor should be, how thick the processor should be to escape the heat. So the heat dynamics, thermodynamics, all those mathematical things come pretty hard in biotechnology. So my suggestion will be, if the person is good in mathematics, biotechnology is a good option. I mean, BTech in biotechnology is a good option. If the person is not that much well versed or doesn't like mathematics that much, then BSc in biotechnology will suit him or her better. Because biotechnology in BSc doesn't involve that deep mathematics, and mostly focus on immunology part, recombinant DNA technology part, or microbiology part. Those things are also there. In BTech biotechnology, those things are there, but more or less an equal proportion is for fluid flow, thermodynamics, thermochemistry, delta G value, gives free energy. All those things are coming in there. So huge amount of math is involved in BTech biotechnology. So if a person is good in mathematics, BTech in biotechnology is the option. Otherwise, BSc in biotechnology.
Thank you so much, sir.
May I add up a little in this?
Please, sir.
Yeah, you see, whichever courses AICT has been recognizing, because AICT cannot recognize courses of which length of 3 years. They can only recognize the 4-year courses. And UGC is recognizing the 3-year graduation courses, whereas AICT recognizes 4-year graduation courses. So the first year is of all the AICT courses includes the subjects which are taught in engineering also. Engineering and everywhere, all the AICT courses, the first year courses are nearly the same. And that is why these mathematics and all these things are there. But the basic biotechnology, whatever the education should be, the knowledge of biotechnology is absolutely the same in both the BSc and BTech courses. That is what Dhruvajyoti sir has been telling. Yeah, that is exactly true. It is a difference of only 1 year because of AICT and non-AICT course. Otherwise, there is no much difference. And because of AICT courses, mathematics is there, which is not there in BSc course. That's all. Thank you.
Can I add a little bit? Also, I mean, I completely agree with you, Dr. Sengupta. Moreover, another point is, if you want to apply for any foreign university, most of them requires a 4 years degree course, which is there in the BTech, not in the BSc. So that's another advantage the BTech students can get over the BSc. Otherwise, the BSc student go there and get that extra year from some outside university. So that's another advantage of getting BTech.
Yes.
True, but these BSc students can always do MSc and then apply for that. Because whenever the BTech students are going with GRE to the foreign universities, they have to do again MS course there or a bridge course there. Without which they cannot join any program there. So here in that case, they can do MSc and go to the foreign countries.
Sir, shall I move on to the next question? So the next question is from Dr. Amalesh Shamanta, sir, from Abhas Anand. The question is like, kindly suggest me some international institute to pursue my postdoctoral in the field of formulation designing from a foreign university. I have done my PhD from Punjab University.
Yes, it is a good opportunity for foreign universities. The candidate may go through a direct fellowship with different universities. Otherwise, he or she may qualify the GRE and TOEFL or other different examinations. Different examination means IELTS, NAPLEX, and MPJE. The candidate may apply the North American Pharmacist Licensure Examination, it is called NAPLEX. Otherwise, Multi-State Pharmacy Jurisprudence Examination, MPJE. And in case of Europe, Australia, and New Zealand, the exam is IELTS, the International English Language Test System. This is the option. Or candidate may directly contact with the university supervisors or professors. They may accommodate and they provide the chances with fellowship and other facilities. This is the option for abroad for further research or postdoctoralship.
Thank you, sir.
Clear to him. Anyone?
So the next question is for Dr. Rudra Shaha. So the question is like, what are the courses that Adamus is offering? And I'm studying science in class 12. Do I need to be good in maths to get through?
Well, thank you. So there are various courses in undergraduate levels that Adamus University is offering. If he or she wants to be in biology sector or biology or life science, there are BTech in biotechnology or BSc in biotechnology, as a panelist explained the differences, as well as he or she can get BSc honors in microbiology or BSc honors in biochemistry. These are the three. Also, there are B.Pharm is there. So these are the four options at present. Here I also want to present my take on BTech versus BSc in one line. that what I have seen traditionally in last few years, that there is a job option. If a student can complete BTech Biotechnology, he or she has a opportunity. He can get a job after completion of the degree, because there are various companies who come for campus placement, and students of BTech Biotechnology can get a job fairly easily compared to BSc Biotechnology, because most of the companies prefer BTech over BSc. So that could be one way to get a job quickly if someone wants to be there. Thank you.
So can you answer one more question? There's one more question actually. This student is doing BSc in Zoology. Can I do MPharm after completing my BSc?
It's probably, I don't know. Probably from
No, it is no.
Pharma someone should. It's probably no. Yeah. That's what
A person cannot do that.
Yeah.
For doing MPharm, one has to pass BPharm.
Okay.
BPharm, right.
But yes, he can do MSc Biotechnology or MSc Genetics, etc.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So the next question is from Dr. Shamil Roy. So this is not related to any career opportunity or anything like that, but it is related to COVID. So this question goes like, how immunomodulators and blood thinners like parent drugs help in COVID-19 treatment? So we can't hear you. So can you unmute your microphone, sir, please? Dr. Shamil Royce, sir, can you please unmute your microphone? The students cannot hear you. The participants cannot hear you. Yes.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please repeat the question once more. Sorry.
So the question goes like, how immunomodulators and blood thinners like parent drugs help in COVID-19 treatment?
Okay. So the first question is the role of immunomodulators. Okay. The immunomodulators primarily, apart from COVID, in the generally, if you think about the immune system, immunomodulators primarily, like one of the things that is currently being debated, the role of BCG. BCG as a prophylactic or therapeutic role against COVID. So BCG we have taken BCG during our childhood, and epidemiologically there is a report that those who had BCG at a certain point of their life, they are relatively protected compared to rest of the world where there is no uses of BCG. So this is an epidemiological data, and apparently so far there is no experimental data to verify or validate this hypothesis or the observation. So one way of looking into the problem, that if this is true, that immunomodulators can play some role, then BCG vaccination definitely must be playing some role in an indirect way. There is a term in immunology nowadays, they call it trained immunity. Trained immunity means that our immune system, the first line of defense of our immune system, is coming from the macrophages or the phagocytic cells of our body. So these phagocytic cells or macrophages, they carry the contact of BCG or some other immunomodulators that we have encountered in our life. So when this kind of similar pathogens we encounter, macrophages started to trigger and produce variety of cytokines, and that's the way we protect it. So this is an epidemiological data, and apparently it requires a lot of scientific validation, animal studies to show that immunomodulatory role of BCG is playing a very protective role in the process. So this is a kind of observation, but requires scientific validation that how immunomodulators can protect us from COVID infection. About the blood thinner, I think this was a group of pathologists. They started doing some studies in Europe after the patient died. They found that there is a lot of hemorrhages in the lung. Okay, and the cause of which is not known, why there is a hemorrhage, and a lot of clotting of blood in the lung. So now it is probably in use as a part of the treatment to use blood thinner like heparin. It is used as a part of the treatment in COVID infection. And another issue, interesting issue that I should at least tell the students, that if we think about the COVID patients, about 15% of the patients, they show cytokine surge, cytokine blasting, or cytokine upregulation. What does it mean? Our body has two types of cytokines. One we call the protective cytokine, another is the disease promoting cytokines. And there is a balance between these two. The question is that why 15% of the COVID patients, they show a storm, cytokine storm, and which is responsible for the organ damage. And they are the people very vulnerable to this kind of disease. So apparently, we do not have any clear-cut convincing answer to address this question, why some of us showing cytokine storm and others are not showing cytokine storm. And this cytokine storm is responsible for pathogenesis, for organ failure and all kinds of dysfunction that we see. It is because of hyperimmune response, that 15% of these people are showing hyperimmune response. So therefore, doctors are nowadays using steroids as a part of the treatment. So now blood thinner like heparin, glucocorticoids like steroids, these are now coming as a part of the treatment, and also a lot of antiviral proteases are also part of the treatment. So this is a new disease, and apparently we have no idea, and it's a kind of faceless enemy, and apparently we do not have much weapon or drugs to tackle this kind of problem. So therefore we are kind of going here and there and try to get some ideas that which one could be effective. That's the way the treatment is going on. And apparently, role of immunomodulator, as I mentioned before, and it is still, it's an issue, needs to be studied. I hope that I have been able to answer your question.
Thank you, sir. So then I'll take next question. That is what are the courses offered at Guru Nanak Institute of Pharmaceutical Science and Technology in Life Sciences?
Yeah. Guru Nanak Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences is offering quite a few courses in life sciences, particularly BSc in biotechnology, BSc in microbiology, BSc in genetics, and all the MSc courses in all these three subjects, that is microbiology, biotechnology, and genetics. We are also offering Bachelor of Medical Laboratory Technology and Bachelor of Hospital Management. And our mother is the B.Pharm courses and the M.Pharm courses. We have 5 M.Pharm courses mainly in pharmaceutics, pharmacology, and pharmaceutical chemistry. And presently this year we will be introduced. We got the recognition from Pharmacy Council of India regarding regulatory affairs and M.Pharm in quality assurance. And we also have a diploma in pharmacy also. Now this college is actually, it was the first pharmacy institute in West Bengal to be accredited by NAC NBA, and It is under NIRF ranking since last 4 years consecutive.
Thank you, sir. So the next question is for Dr. Amalesh Shamanta. So what is the scope of clinical pharmacy? And so the other part of the question is, how much rank is needed in the West Bengal Joint Entrance Examination for pharmacy in Jadavpur University?
Yes, in clinical pharmacy in Jadavpur University, it is mandated and affiliated by AICT. But nowadays, PCI also given some legislation to maintain the education regulation in MPharm courses, all MPharm courses. So regarding this here, 8 seats are there, and huge scope and opportunities in clinical pharmacy in India and abroad also, specifically in abroad. It is related to clinical research, clinical trial, and pharmacovigilance, etc., etc.
So I think there's some network issue right now. So meanwhile, I'll just move on to the next question, which is for Dhrubajyoti Chattopadhyay, sir. So can you hear me? Yes, sir. So please unmute the microphone, sir.
Yes, yes, I've done that.
Sir, this question is for you, sir. I have done my MSc in botany, and this year I qualified the GATE exam. I want to do Mtech. My question is, after Mtech, could I get a job in any biotech company?
Definitely. The possibility of getting the job in biotech company depending on their requirements. Say, for example, you have done Mtech in the subject area with what type of specialization, so if that are actually needed by that company, you will get it. But Mtech will definitely help you to get this offer in biotech companies.
Okay. So the next question is for the Devdatta, sir. So
Yes,
it goes
please.
like, yes, sir. Nowadays, the field of biological sciences is flourishing in India. Compared to foreign countries, the career options in India are still quite less. What is the sustainability of this field, or how wide the scope will be in India in the future? Should students prefer to move out to foreign countries or pursue their studies in India in terms of skill sets?
Okay, very good question. Number one is about the progress of pharmaceutical sector in India. If you look back couple of years, maybe a decade or two, there were barely any drug discovery center in India. And now there are several drug discovery centers coming up, including our Zydus Research Center, which was established in early 90s, not before, mid 90s, not before that. So now we are flourishing. We have got a couple of companies, one drug already in the market. So slowly other companies are also coming up. Recently, couple of companies have stopped their R&D, but the R&D is the future. In fact, lots of companies started believing that without research and development, they cannot sustain a profitable business. So in that, from that angle of view, other companies will come and start venturing in, plus Indian inbuilt companies will start working on that. So pharmaceutical research is not going to stop in India in near future, that much for sure. So if they can get a foreign experience, say some postdoctoral experience from outside or some foreign degree from outside, that will of course help them get a good position in here. But Indian pharmaceutical companies are thriving, and we are going to come up in more numbers in near future. That's for sure.
And so one more question is there from another participant, that for D Pharma, will CET be held this year?
What is that last part? D
so
Pharma?
for D Pharma, will CET be held this year?
I have no idea. I have no idea about that.
Yeah,
I don't.
actually, I can go for that. You see,
Okay.
this exam is being conducted by West Bengal State Council of Technical Education for vocational education and this. So this year, still now, the government has not made any notification for that. So, but of course, all these seats of D Pharma, that is Diploma in Pharmacy, will be given by the West Bengal Council of Technical Education. Whether they will be conducting the exam or whether they will go by this marks basis, merit basis, that we are not sure. But till date, there is no notification. So we have to wait for the notification for that.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So the next question is for Dr. Chattopadhyay. So what are the future options, job-oriented, after completing MSc in microbiology or biotechnology?
See, job-oriented thing, if you want after MSc in microbiology or biotechnology, the thing as Devdatta mentioned, that the IPR-related courses are available right now. And if you can afford that, it is a very good one because there are a lot of companies right now looking for IPR specialists. The second thing is the management. If you go for MBA in biotechnology, that can also going to give you some specialized options for being absorbed in the industries. But mainly if you go for the regular manufacturing industries, you have to work as an apprentice or junior scientific officers where the prospects are not so high. So normally we discourage right after MSc to go for these industries at this particular types of jobs where the possibility of going to higher ups or being the lab leaders are going to be less. So in that case, it is always good that if you can go for PhD and then opt for this.
So can you answer one more question? So it goes like this, that during this lockdown period due to the coronavirus, how will the researchers overcome this period? Because now most of the things are in an online mode. So what will be the future of practical research?
Yeah. So this is absolutely a very, very good question because this is my question also. Because I also feel like that we are really getting handicapped. Only few research institutes, they opened up their research facilities, but majority of the universities, they are not actually opening up, and we are really suffering for that. And also you can see that these type of researchers need, say for example, cell culture or regular monitoring of the animals and others, those things are also being affected. So this is really a challenge for us, and how to make it up is also very difficult. Now mainly what these researchers are doing is doing some sort of computer simulation type of work or related to computational biology type of work, but the practical work are really being affected, and we are actually looking forward to a little bit situation in the COVID in next 1 month or so.
And sir, one more question for you, sir. I'm a student of nutrition science honors. What will be the best option for me to choose after doing my BSc?
See, if you are doing the nutrition honors, then it is always good to go for the MSc in nutrition, because this applied nutrition or applied nutrition is becoming a very, very important career options right now. And there are huge course scope for this particular subject. And so I think it's better to do the post-graduation. Other than that, there are some diploma courses are available, and also there are some sort of hospital management courses are available with where you can get absorbed, but best option is to go for the post-graduation.
Thank you, sir. So the next question is for Dr. Devdatta. that I'm a BSc Respiratory Care Technology student. Can I choose toxicology for MSc?
That's an academic question. I cannot answer that. Different university has different regulations. So I think our academic counterparts are there who can answer this. But with the respiratory thing, I think some hospitals will be open for job opportunity. Regarding education, I cannot comment on that. I would ask our education seniors to pitch in.
See, Devdatta is right that different universities have got different options, but in general, possibility of taking completely a different one like MSc in toxicology is difficult to get it from this course.
Thank you, sir. So then the next question is for Shamanta, sir. Amlish, sir. Sir, can you please unmute?
Yes.
So this student is in Xavier's and is a class 11 student. I'm very interested in pharma research. How do I get into it for pharma research?
For pharma research, first of all, he has to admitted in B Pharm course, and then M Pharm, and then research. It is the 3-tier: first graduation, then post graduation, then pharma research. Otherwise, there is no option to go to the research protocol without the knowledge from B Pharm and M Pharm.
Okay. And sir, there's one more question. So do you feel life science education in West Bengal needs more orientation towards industry versus that only confined to theories and labs? How do you bridge the gap?
Sorry, repeat please.
So do you feel that life science education in West Bengal needs more orientation towards industry versus only confined to that of theory and labs? How do we bridge this gap?
Yes, life science, if there is microbiology or immunology, genetics, so many pharma company and research areas, every pharmaceutical company have microbiology research laboratory or evaluation of different drugs and microbiological testing and animal study. So if he or she studied the subjects microbiology, biotechnology, genetics, molecular biology, and every research institute and R&D section, there is a opportunity and scope of life science students. Even they can enter into the PhD program also in different research institutes, in Kolkata also, in CSIR laboratory, and Icmr, NICED also. There are huge scope and opportunities for life science students. Okay.
Can I pitch in?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
May I pitch in, please? Yeah.
Yes,
sure,
sir.
What I found when I regularly recruit people from academia, because they come mostly as a fresh master's graduate or something. So I recruit people right out of the university. And what I found is there is a big difference in the mental orientation. Academic research and industrial research has got two different orientation. The main difference in academia, you are trying to prove something new, something very novel. In our case, what we have to do is, novelty is one part, but the biggest part is the reproducibility. So the steadiness of the hand, that means once I set up an assay, I'm talking about my in vitro part especially, once I set up an assay, that assay has to be very robust. And whenever I reproduce it, whenever I repeat it, the data will be very reproducible. So in our case, reproducibility is the big challenge, because sometimes we take up a project, let's say an enzymatic assay. We are trying to find an enzyme inhibitor. And we have to test hundreds or thousands of compounds that are coming from our medicinal chemistry counterparts and test them using our assay, which one is better and which one is not. To do that, we have to run all the compounds in the same assay day after day and the only confidence I can confer to my medicinal chemistry counterpart is the reproducibility. If they find that our assay is very reproducible, then they will be happy, they will have more confidence on their structure activity relationship, what they call SAR, and they will be more comfortable in making new compounds if they have that confidence level on our assay. So in industry, the biggest challenge is the reproducibility and sticking to the same assay day after day. That big orientation problem I always felt. And whenever we recruit somebody, we need to counsel them for that see, whatever life you have spent in there, this is a new life. You have to adjust yourself to this new environment. And then you have to you have to stay with the main assay and continue with that. So that is what the biggest challenge we are facing. And I think our academic industry, academic organizations, they should probably take some kind of initiative to make them somewhat industry ready. I don't know how to do that. Maybe a small coursework or something by which they will be mentally little oriented towards the industry, because none of us we don't start with industry. All of us start with academia, and we don't know what is the expectation that industry is having from us. So that is probably something we can think about. If this academic organization, they can introduce some kind of coursework to introduce that industry mental orientation. That is what I think.
That would be very good if you could answer one more question, sir. This participant's brother passed out with a B Pharm degree and got a job as a pharmacist at a private company. He wishes to go in a production line, but he told that production line job is not much in West Bengal. We have to go either to the northern or the southern parts of India. So how far is it to answer? Yes, or the Western. And yes, what are the government job opportunities in West Bengal?
Government job opportunity in West Bengal, I cannot tell too much about that, but about the pharmaceutical job, West, South, especially Bangalore area or Ahmedabad area or Gurgaon area, those are the main hubs. So for pharmaceutical jobs, I believe people have to think about moving out of the state and coming to this side. That's what my belief is.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So the next question is for Dr. Rudra Shaha from Priyanka Datta. I am a 4th year student of integrated course in biotechnology program, Btech plus Mtech. What career options should I look for? And does CGPA really matter too much during the placement?
Okay, thank you. So she is a 4th year graduate. So if it's integrated BTech and MTech, so there probably another 1 or 2 years is left, depending on what type of courses she is enrolled into. So what I found, I can talk about Adamos University, that what kind of placement that you, what was the last part you just mentioned about the question? Could you please repeat?
Does CGPA really matter for as far as placement is concerned?
So what I have seen that there are a few biotech related companies that have done placement interviews at our campus, that CGPA after a cutoff, the CGPA doesn't matter. So to clear the interview, obviously you need certain CGPA, depending on it varies company to company. After that, I don't think it does have any value to the company, because because of the way, because it's not that the highest CGPA person always get the job. So it's kind of overall development, and that's so as Dr. Devdatta Bandyopadhyay clearly said, that there is a difference between research in academia as well as in company, and the expectations are also different. So that's what we have done. We have incorporated mandatory internship for all BTech as well as BSc students. So it is apart from their project work, which probably they are going to do in an academia setting, but they have to do a mandatory internship in a company, not in a research organization. That actually helps the students to have certain amount of feel what kind of expectation or type of work they are going to do, and that actually helps during their interview too. So those kinds of things is definitely helpful, and CGPA does not matter after the cutoff. That's what my experience is. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Can I just share one word?
Yes, yes, sure,
Yeah.
sir.
As Dr. Shah said, really CGPA, GPA, it's not a big deal. It is the person has to be at the right position at the right time. That is the most important thing. When I am looking for a person to do a certain job, which doesn't need a very high CGPA, I can teach him, I can train him. That's not a big deal. But I'm not getting any good person. In that case, lots of time we end up in hiring a person who doesn't have that high CGPA. And lots of time I get CV for a very good student, very high caliber, very high, but I don't have any vacancy. So when the vacancy comes, who is the person who is applying? That is something very interesting. For the young attendees, I can share one story which can give them some boost up. Couple of months ago, I was just having a tea break outside our campus behind our rear gate, rear entry. So we went to the rear gate and having tea. A person came up, young guy with a carry-on bag. Sir, do you have any position here? I say, position means in what? I want to do a job. I say, okay, fine. So what is your experience? What is your qualification? Sir, I have a biotechnology, Btech in biotechnology. Okay, did you submit your CV? Yes, sir, I gave the CV to the security. No, security will not do anything. You next day, you bring a CV to me. I will see what I can do. So next day, he brought me a CV. I send it to the HR. Just all I did is I channelized it through proper way. I send it to HR and say, see if you can do everything about that. You won't believe the person got a job within, I think, 48 hours or so. Because that time they were looking for a job, not in my department, in some other department. They were looking for a person very badly, and that guy came over there, so they accepted him. That guy doesn't have very high CGPA. So it's all about, are you knocking the door at the right time? That is what matters in industry. It is nothing personal, nothing like we are ignoring you, nothing like something we don't take male, female, these, that, nothing. It's only matters is when you are knocking the door, do we need that person? That is the main thing we need. Because we cannot wait. I mean, industry is so fast paced. We cannot wait to recruit for like 6 months or so. We need a recruitment. We need to fill up a vacancy. Do it very fast. That is the problem.
So in continuation to this, in that case, I have a next question, like from Tapas Panja. I have done my MSc in organic chemistry, in inorganic chemistry, sorry. How can I join Ieds?
Well, I will say him to forward his CV to our HR, and they will send it to the corresponding department. I get lots of CV from human resources. Whenever they get CV, they forward to the corresponding department, matching the career and matching the qualification, requirement and qualification. So if we have an inorganic chemistry department here. So if they need that inorganic chemistry expertise, they will call them for an interview, for sure.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So the next question is open to all the panelists, because the student asking, I did my BSc and MSc in home science from Aligarh Muslim University. What should I pursue as my career option next after this, after home science?
Yeah, so normally Aligarh Muslim University syllabus, the home science, there are a lot of component of general component of physiology, biochemistry, as well as nutrition. So these type of students with this qualification, this particular subject areas, the home science people, they can actually opt for now the different top hotels. They are actually looking for specialized like that, and they can actually apply to those places and actually get into that. Besides that, they can also opt for the MBA in hotel management, or MBA in, I think home science doesn't have any MBA, but MBA in health science also, health management. So there the home science people can join. So these two options which are coming into my mind. Otherwise, they can opt for PhD, they can go for academic lecturership and all these areas.
Okay, sir. So thank you, sir. So and there's one more question. Which institute is good for pharmaceutical chemistry?
Best answer will be given by Professor Shamanta.
Yes,
This is the oldest one where they are having this particular pharmaceutical division, pharmacy division. And we have NIPER also. The NIPER, once it's actually decided to start the NIPER institutions in different parts of our country. So NIPER is also another very good option. So Professor Shamanta and Professor Roy.
Professor Shamanta?
Yes, in pharmaceutical chemistry, all reputed universities in India, say Jadavpur University is a good department for pharmaceutical chemistry, medicinal chemistry, and computer-aided drug design in Jadavpur University, as well as in Benares Hindu University, and Sir said Chandigarh also, Naipar Mohali, and so many institutes are there for chemistry, pharmaceutical chemistry. But in my opinion, Jadavpur University and Chandigarh University, Naipar Mohali, DHU is a good option for pharmaceutical chemistry. Actually, pharmaceutical chemistry has so many branches are there: medicinal chemistry, plant chemistry, natural product research. So many branches are there: computer-aided drug design, in silico drug design, etc. Pharmaceutical chemistry have several branches: pharmaceutical analysis, quality control and analysis. Almost every reputed university offering the degree in masters in pharmaceutical chemistry, and it is a huge scope in industry. Pharmaceutical chemistry. This is the basic and core subject in pharmacy. Okay, and one more thing I want to share here regarding the government job. During my answering, I skipped the question, and Dr. Devdatta sir answering in outside West Bengal. But in West Bengal, there are nowadays opportunities of government job after completing B Pharm or M Pharm, mainly in drug inspectors and hospital pharmacists, as well as government drug testing laboratories and research institutes, etc., etc. Apart from this, hospital pharmacist and forensic lab and different lecturerships in different college and universities and government sector. Otherwise, there are in Northeast, there are so many multinational companies are there. Ahmedabad is the best area for pharmaceutical opportunities, and Maharashtra, Hyderabad, even Madhya Pradesh also. And nowadays, the opportunities of pharma graduates, B Pharm, M Pharm, and PhD, it is a good opportunity now because it is related to healthcare system. We are in a position. We are preparing, manufacturing, and characterizing the different sorts of drugs, and drugs or medicines are very important nowadays due to development of healthcare system and different health disease and hazards. So job opportunity gradually increasing in West Bengal also. In India, very much. This is the newer flourishing branch of pharmacy, either B Pharm, M Pharm, or PhD. And other opportunities are there. So many candidates, they are doing biomedical engineering. After completion of B Pharm, so many institutes in Jadavpur or IIT Kharagpur and in IIST Sibpur also, there are biomedical research is very important. And there are other branches after completion of B Pharm, so many options, maybe in Mtech, Biotechnology, Biomedical Engineering, and legislation, drug regulatory affairs, IPR, intellectual property rights. So opportunities very much, life science, biotech, and pharma also. The government sector also recruiting the pharmacists in central government also, railway pharmacists, CGHS, central government health scheme, and port trust, etc., etc. So many opportunities as a pharmacist, say maybe B Pharm, D Pharm, or M Pharm. Okay, I think this is the answer of previous question.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
So the next question is again open to all the panelists present over here. So Shrija Das, she wants to know what are the job opportunities available to a student after doing a BSc in zoology?
I think right person is Professor Zoology Chatterjee sir. He is the right person. After zoology, it is also life science. So they may enter in CSIR laboratories, even in Jadavpur University, Life Science Biotech, Residency University. So many opportunities are there because it is related to microbiology, genetics, and biochemistry also. Life science means there are so many subjects and different precise topics are there. They can shift from different aspects: microbiology, immunology, genetics, molecular biology, etc., etc. I think Professor Zoology sir is the right person to answer this question appropriately.
Yeah, so as mentioned already by Professor Shamanta, see, BSc in zoology, normally you can go for some jobs in the school, secondary schools after having the B.Ed in life science, or because you have to actually have higher either MSc or PhD for getting a job in the universities or colleges. Right now, there is no scope for that. BSc Zoology can also apply for as the different museums. They normally prefer the museology, but zoology students, BSc Zoology students sometimes get the opportunity. The other areas where the ZSI, Zoological Survey of India, and basically the zoo gardens also, sometimes they have junior apprentice and junior technical officers or scientific officers whose qualification is just BSc Zoology. So that is also possible. And otherwise, you should have a higher degree in that area.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, again, the next question is open to all of you. This is from Shayok Ghosh. If I'm pursuing M.Pharm in medicinal chemistry, can I get access to computational chemistry?
Professor Shamanta?
Computational chemistry. Hello.
Yes, sir.
From pharmacy background, M.Pharm, after completion of M.Pharm, or candidate is interested for computational pharmaceutical chemistry.
Yes, sir. After doing medicinal chemistry, can you go for computational chemistry?
After masters, after completion of M.Pharm.
Yes, sir.
There is a scope for computer-aided drug designing. It is the newer aspects and QSTAR. So there is a huge scope in computer-aided drug designing, computational drug designing. It is in Jadavpur University and so many professors and other reputed universities continuing this computational drug design. It is very important also in silico drug designing. And so many research institutes are doing such type of research work, computational drug designing. So you may contact with different CSIR lab and different research institutes of repute.
So then there's one more question from Shumon Banerjee that I'm a B Pharm graduate. I have qualified the GATE exam. Which stream should I choose next for my future career, or should I go for M Pharm?
Question to me?
Yes, yes, sir.
After completion B Pharm, he succeed GATE.
Yes, sir. He has qualified GATE, and now he's asking he should go for M Pharm, or which other stream should he opt for his future career?
Now, in my opinion, the candidate doing completed B Pharm, so his or her main stream is Masters. Masters means M Pharm. Yes. Always we are trying to a candidate for a mainstream. Otherwise, candidate after completing GATE, he may choose the biomedical engineering or life science biotechnology or management, etc., etc. In my opinion, if he is interested in teaching and research, my opinion is the mainstream. Comply the GPAD examination and MPharm, and then further research or any other management course. So mainstream is the always it is the straight line, and every opportunity of teaching, research, and industry also. So my suggestion, the candidate is try to appear the GPAD examination, graduate aptitude test in pharmacy, to enter in the MPharm course with a full fellowship with a fellowship from AICT. So it is the better option in my opinion. Otherwise, he may choose the another biotechnological line or biomedical engineering. It is also flourishing now, biomedical engineering. In Jadavpur University offering biomedical engineering also. Or Sipur, IIEST, or maybe Kharagpur IIT. There is a huge scope for biomedical engineering after qualifying GATE. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So the next question is again open to all of you. This is like, what can I do after Masters in Science and Organic Chemistry, followed by PhD? What job will I get?
Organic Chemistry.
Yes, sir.
So it is the option
Masters
for,
in Organic Chemistry.
It is a basic science, general science. So my opinion is PhD in any reputed university. Otherwise,
So then, after PhD, what job will I get?
In teaching, research. Otherwise, so many CSIR research laboratories in Kolkata also, or in different pharma companies. There is a demand for chemists like PhD and organic chemistry masters. In every industry have a quality control and quality assurance department. So it is the basic need for analysis and characterization of drugs after preparing. It is the important scope and aspects, not only pharma students. There are lots of basic science and pure science students working in the pharma industry. So there is a huge scope for R&D section, means for good manufacturing practice, quality control and quality assurance in pharma sector also. Otherwise, he may go into the different central government research institutes for further research and postdoctoral, or as a scientist, etc., etc.
Thank you, sir.
As Dr. Samanto said very rightly, besides those options, there are a couple of more options. Number one is analytical chemistry. All pharmaceutical companies needs analytical chemists, and DMPK, drug metabolism and pharmacokinetics. Plus, original medicinal chemistry department is always there. So pharmaceutical chemists, pharmaceutical people, they need organic chemistry people, and they have good options in here, for sure.
Thank you, sir. So the next question is jointly addressed to Dr. Sengupta and Dr. Shah. How important is it to have a good final year 6-month project to get admission in IITs or NITs or Icmr for Mtech in Biotech? If I did a 6-month internship in a management profile in a non-biotech or pharma company instead of a project, will it affect my admission procedure in those colleges?
I think it's better you repeat the question because some parts I didn't get it.
Okay, sure, sir. So this question is from Shrestha Mitra. How important is it to have a good final year 6-month project to get admission in IITs or NITs or ICMR for Mtech in Biotech. If I did a 6-month internship in a management profile in a non-biotech or pharma company instead of a project, will it affect my admission procedure in those colleges?
See, admission to all these courses is mandatory, is GATE examination. So one has to prepare for GATE. That is the basic subjects what he has been studying in graduation course. And preparing for GATE means you have to read, understand in between the lines. Not only the lines, but also in between the lines. And then only you can do fairly good in GATE examination. Yes, of course, internships are always good. This during graduation course and during master courses, internships are being encouraged by the colleges. But internship also if he is interested in a biotechnological company. So internship in biotechnology, summer internship or winter internship in a company which is dealing with biotechnology, etc. So that will be helpful rather to understand the concept. See, basic need is not to mug up and get a lot of CGPA and all. The basic need is to understand the concepts of the subject. Getting more CGPA, getting more marks is not the thing. The thing is conceptualization, which helps in appearing the competitive exams, which helps in getting a good job, because that increases the employability of a person.
Thank you, sir. Sir, and Dr. Shaha, what is your take on this? We would like to hear from you also, sir.
Yeah, in my opinion, it is clearly explained by Professor Shengupta. Nothing more to add. He explained clearly. Thank you.
Okay, and sir, there's one more question. With this is open to all actually. With artificial intelligence getting better and better, how will the role of life science change?
Oh, huge. The life science is going to be benefited from AI. It's absolutely, because the major area of AI right now is a healthcare management. In the health and clinical, the AI is playing very important role with respect to the medical transcriptions, with respect to the getting the different types of healthcare reports, and then formulation of identifying the remote controlled identification of different diseases. All these things are possible with the help of AI, and AI is going to really help beneficial for the life scientists.
Thank you, sir. So again, there is the next question which is open to all. Sir, I am pursuing my BSc in genetics and want to have a job in clinical trials and drug development. In which subject should I pursue my MSc in?
So you can have MSc in genetics, because that will continue. As Professor Shamanta said, everybody thinks about the generic things, but because you have BSc in genetics, you can opt for molecular biology, biotechnology, or microbial genetics, or something like that. So then also you can apply for this type of job. But these jobs are actually under different phases. So for example, right now, there is a huge recruitment of this clinical trial things. And
I think there is some problem with the network, sir.
I would like to add a word what Dhruvada was saying. Biostatistics is another very important part for clinical trials. So if the person has got some kind of thing in biostatistics, that will be very helpful in clinical trial. I think Dhruvada is back. He may continue.
Yes.
Dhruvada, would you like to?
It's okay. No. That's what I'm saying, that there are the BSc in genetics cannot move to be MSc in statistics. So that's why I said BSc genetics will have to go for these things. But statistics people in the different industries right now, and also for clinical trials, they're absolutely needed, because most of these organizations are looking for a lot of epidemiological things also, where statisticians can play a very important role. Biostatistics is coming up in a very big way.
Thank you, sir.
Bioinformatics also, sir. Bioinformatics is also the another important parameter, including the biostatistics. Bioinformatics also.
Yes, yes.
So then the next question is for Professor Amlesh Shamanto. I am a final year B.Pharm student. Now I'm planning to take admission in M.Pharm at Jadavpur University. So please suggest some companies that visit Jadavpur University for M.Pharm students in the R&D sector.
Actually, in Jadavpur University, 26 are there in M.Pharm course. 20 from GPAT, means after graduate aptitude test examination, and 5 seats from sponsorship, either industry or teaching, and 1 for PH candidate, physically challenged candidate. 26 are there. 20 for students through GPAT, and there is some category SC, ST, OBC, etc. And 5 seats from industry sponsored, either industry or teaching. So candidate having some experience in industrial experience at least 1 year, he or she can take admission in the Jadavpur University within 5 seats. It is earmarked, 5 seats are there for master's degree, and 1 seat for physically challenged candidate. So this is the seat matrix in our university, Jadavpur University. 26 seats, 20 plus 5 plus 1.
No,
this is the seat
question
matrix.
is actually related to what are the industries who visit. There are options for the students of M.Pharm in Jadavpur University.
Sorry, sir?
Industries, pharmaceutical industries. Which are the pharmaceutical industries offer jobs to the M.Pharm students of Jadavpur University?
After completion of B.Pharm, the candidate is
after
working
M.Pharm. After M.Pharm,
PhD.
No. What are the industries they come and give offers to the students of Jadavpur University?
Yes. Mainly Dr. Reddy's, Mylan, and nowadays they are interviewed last 2 years and 1 year through online by providing their CV through Jadavpur University placement cell, and there is a coordinator in the department from student section and teacher, and there is a placement coordinator in our university. They can contact with the different pharmaceutical industries in Northeast as well as different other sectors. They send their name and CV, and they interrogate the students online. First round, second round, third round. Or sometimes they come directly in the university campus for campusing. And from different clinical research unit also, WIPRO. Last year, WIPRO. Majority of the students entered in the WIPRO. And better opportunity for clinical pharmacy students due to development of clinical research and clinical trial and pharmacovigilance, etc. etc. So last year and previous years, the full students are recruited in different pharma sectors, and few students enter in the M.Pharm course, and few are getting a government job. Now government recruiting the hospital pharmacists. Huge numbers, last 2 years and 2.5 years. Huge numbers. And drug inspector course also recruited. And in our drug testing laboratory in Convent Road, there is also so many MSc chemistry fellows are there, as well as B.Pharm, M.Pharm students are there. Opportunities are there in our drug testing laboratory, and opportunities in Pharmacopoeial Commission also in the Government of India. So now it is the important and huge scope of pharma backgrounds. And recent developments are biomedical engineering. As because in master's degree there is a medical devices are there. Another specialization in NIPER Hyderabad, the medical devices. It is also the emerging field, including the medical science. This is also the scope of pharmacy students. Hello, I am audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you are.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I hope Professor
Thank you, sir.
Zoology sir is satisfied.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Mhm.
Yes, sir. So then the next question. So like this question has come up many times in the chat box. It's for Dr. Sen Gupta, Dr. Abhijit Sen Gupta.
Yeah.
So what is the cutoff for getting into your institute? So this question has come up many times in the chat box actually.
Cut off in what? I think what he is
Life science.
asking for
Life science.
in life science. See here, in life science, there are different subjects. We are having biochemistry, microbiology, genetics, medical laboratory technology, and hospital management, of course. Yeah, they have to come through CET, and there is through CET they can come. Recently, McCout has advertised for applying into CET examination, and there is as such no cutoff. But we in the college, we keep physics, chemistry, biology, or physics, chemistry, mathematics at least 55%.
Thank you, sir. So the next question is open to all the panelists. Actually, we are running short of time. We have 5 minutes more left. So I would just take up another 1 or 2 questions at the most. The next question is, I am currently studying Mtech in computer technology and have thesis on cancer detection and diagnosis using ML. My question is that is there any way to go into a medical line using AI technology, artificial intelligence technology, in case of innovation or higher studies?
Excellent question. I think Dhruvajyoti sir should take it. It's an excellent question. I'll definitely tell after him if he is taking it up.
In my opinion, can I reply?
Go ahead.
I think there are so many cancer research institute here in West Bengal, or cancer study going on in CSIR, IICB Kolkata, or CNCI, Bhawanipur. And cancer research also going on Calcutta University, also in Baliganj campus, as well as, my opinion, contact with IICB, CSIR Laboratory, Jadavpur, Indian Institute of Chemical Biology. Otherwise, sir will share the information to the student, to the scholar.
Yeah, actually, the specific question is that the training what he had so far at the area of the competition, whether that is actually help him to get this AI thing and the healthcare, it's absolutely possible, and there are number of companies are coming up right now, and I'm sure Devdatta is also knows about it, that number of companies in Hyderabad, Bangalore, Ahmedabad, they are actually looking for this type of students of this background, and with the training they can definitely be an asset to those industries.
Of course, Dhruva, you are very right.
Thank you.
Yeah, we are looking for those kind of people. Yeah.
So I would now like to wrap up the session with one last question from Shuman Mitra, who has done his MSc in biochemistry. Presently, I am a confocal microscope operator in a reputed ICMR institute. What options do I have in this particular field in pharma industry or in other institutions, and how can I go about applying? So this is the final question for this.
In our industry, confocal microscopy doesn't have that much importance because very few people in our sector, they use confocal microscopy. Confocal microscopy is used to locate co-localization of two protein or two organelles mostly. Research organizations have most importantly, they are much more interested in this kind of confocal microscopy. Another confocal microscopy place will be cytological labs. So most of the cytological labs, they might be interested in confocal microscopy. Directly, pharmaceutical industry who are involved in medicinal pharmacy may not have that much interested in confocal microscopy. But of course, the cytological labs have enormous importance for confocal microscopy, yes.
But I have seen that Bharat Biotech as well as AstraZeneca, they are actually having a lot of interest in this particular people with their experience in confocal microscopy because of the one you have just mentioned about this protein-protein interaction studies for new drug development, new drug research. So they are actually looking for, I just have seen some advertisements in their website in the Bharat Biotech as well as in AstraZeneca. So there are companies rightly mentioned by Devdatta that who are actually studying the interaction and any particular interventive molecule discovery, small molecule discovery. They are interested in this type of confocal microscopy, but cytological labs, cytological institutes, and right now one very important area which is developing for the genetic counseling, there are a number of related cytogenetics labs out there where this particular confocal microscopist has got the potential for absorption.
You are right, Dhruvada. Actually, right now we have one project where looking for a surface protein and using a drug, we are trying to see the level of the surface protein. For confidentiality, I'm not getting into detail. There are some surface protein and we are applying a drug and trying to see if that surface protein is going down. I mean, we are not interested in the total protein level. So for that case, this kind of confocal will be very useful. But we don't have any confocal system here. So we are thinking about outsourcing that to some other companies who can do this job for us. I mean, for one project, getting a whole confocal microscopy lab setup is a huge investment. So we are trying to outsource it.
Can I add something? Hello?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I think nowadays the people are using confocal microscopy for getting into the different drug molecules level and targeting where it is being localized in the cells. So those kind of studies to target identification, people are using confocal microscopy. So I don't know any Indian pharma company is using it or not, but it's a kind of common practice now to localize the targets.
That is, Shamil, is a little too much luxury for 100% Indian made companies.
No, I think not for whether an Indian pharma is using or not, but I know that this is in practice.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's what I mentioned. AstraZeneca, to rampantly, they're using it actually.
Thank you very much, sir. As we are actually running really short of time, I would not take up any further questions. I would like to thank all the panelists for spending the valuable time and enlightening the participants. And I'm sure all the participants have gained a lot from today's webinar. Thank you very much. I would like to hand over to ABP. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fatima.